Happy spring break! All right, make sure you watch till the end because I'm going to be giving you the code. So when you come back on Monday, I know if you actually watched it. So we are starting stats, and these are some vocab words that I need to make sure you know. So when we come in, we are ready to go, okay? A lot of this should be review. Get yourself a piece of paper, take down a couple notes. I'm going to do a little example with you so that you know how to find all these values, and I can show you that with some technology when we get back to school. So first off, we're going to define these words. Mean just means the average. It means I'm adding them all up and dividing by how many there are. Median is the number in the middle. Mode is the number that occurs the most. Range is the number where I subtract the highest number minus the lowest, and I see how much data is left in between. Now, this might be a new term for you, IQR, interquartile range. Technically, we're going to show that with Q3 minus Q1. Well, what's a quartile? A quartile, think quarter. I take my data and I split it into fourths. So wherever the first quarter stops and the third quarter stops, that's my Q1 and Q3. We'll see that in a minute. An outlier is any data that is too big or small for our set, and we'll talk more about how to find that. And when it comes to standard deviation, that is how far our data is from the mean or the average. I'll show you how to do that with technology later, but all I need you to know right now is you're looking for that symbol. It's called sigma, so that when we do use our calculator, you'll know how to use it. Be sure to bring it with you to class. All right, so I have this data set up here for you, 4, 6, 1, 2, 15, and 2. First things first, before we can do any of this, I have to put them in order least to greatest, okay? So I'm gonna erase, and hey, if you're in my third period class, your code word is trapezoid. Write that down, okay? So my data set in order would be 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, and 15, okay? That's step one. Now, if I want to find the mean or the average, I'm going to add all those up. I already did that beforehand, and I got 30, and I divide it by how many there are. So there are 6 numbers up there. If I divide by 6, my mean or my average is 5, okay? Now I need the median, the middle number. So I like to do this by just crossing stuff off. So take that and that. Take that and that. Oh, there's 2 numbers in the middle, so I have to find the average of them or think about what's in between 2 and 4. It would be 3. So that's my median. Most is just the number that occurs the most often, so that would be 2. And hey, if you're in my first period, your code word is a parallelogram. Write that down, okay? Now, range, highest minus lowest. So my highest number is 15. My lowest number is 1. So the range would be 14 for this data set, okay? Now we move on to IQR. Now, to do that, and by the way, if you're in 7th period, your word's square, okay? Did you get that? Did you really get that? Are you sure you got it? Okay, good. Write it down. All right, so IQR, Q3 minus Q1. So I need to think of splitting my data into fourths, okay? I know where halfway would be, okay? And we call that Q2 or median, all right? But now I need to find the first half of data. So what number's in the middle of the first half? That's 2 right here. That would be Q1. And then to get Q3, that's the middle of the second half. Okay, if you want to know where Q4 is, that's at the end. That's where that would end up. So if I want Q3 minus Q1, in this case, I'm doing 6 minus 2, or getting 4. We'll talk more about how you use that later, okay? An outlier is anything in the data set that is just way too big or way too small. If you're in 2nd period, your code word's triangle. But what part of that data seems to be just way, way too big? Obviously, it's the 15. Every data set won't always have an outlier, but some of them do. Standard deviation, we'll talk about later how far apart these are from the mean, but that's all the stats you need to know, friends. Who'd I forget? Let's see. Sixth period, your word's rhombus. Fourth period, your circle. Seventh period, your square. Parallelogram, triangle, and trapezoid for the other 3 classes. Hope you got that, and I hope you're having a fabulous break and ready to come back and do some stats. Goodbye.